Hello and good morning. This is Andy McCann coming to you from Woodstock, Georgia, where I own CrossFit Garage. I've been doing health and fitness for about 20 years. Actually, more than that because I've always been into this stuff, but as a passion in this business for about 20 years. And this episode is going to be about the race here in Georgia called the TNGA, Trans-North Georgia Bike Packing Adventure, or race, I suppose. And for me, I put race in quotes because I wasn't really racing, I was just doing. Essentially, you have 10 days to complete 355 miles from South Carolina through North Georgia into Alabama. I did not make it. So spoiler, no, I didn't make it. This was my first attempt. I know myself pretty well. I've been doing races for like adventure racing for about 25 years. So I knew what to expect. At least I thought I knew. What I didn't know was just how much bike pushing and water I should drink. I mean, I knew I should have known that. Anyway, there were some failures at the end. Nothing tragic happened, but I did pull out of the race after the third day. My plan was to do 65, 72, and then 77 miles, which basically put me to Moccasin Creek State Park and then Cooper's Gap store and then Mulberry Gap. So I guess this video, hopefully I will organize it in such a way that this comes first. So it'll be a podcast. I'm going to strip out all the audio, but you could also go to YouTube, go to @AndyMcCann42, and you can watch all the videos. But I'm going to put this together. The idea of this as a podcast is there is somebody else like me trying to gather data on what you should do in this race. And it's not very readily available. I watched everything I could. I bought the Amazon special. I did all the things and I still was way underprepared. My hope is to give anybody looking to do this adventure some background, some details. Yes, so it's not a how-to. It's just me doing videos along the way. So yes, it would make more sense if you watched it, but you can get a lot from listening and you'll hear the exhaustion and you'll hear some of the stories and the note to self. And that's probably something that I can't stress enough. If you're interested in doing it, the route is pretty much the same every year. They do have to change it based on what gets washed out or things like that. They do offer a gravel route, which shouldn't change. And what I would recommend is loading an old GPX file into some sort of Garmin, or I used a Coros Enduro, and go drive it and then make some notes to yourself. I would also say undershoot a lot, what you think you can do. So I put in my calculation in my brain was 10 miles an hour. I think I can do more than that, but let's just do 10 miles an hour. I averaged 5 miles an hour. So I messed up my plan. As I like to tell people that I bit off more than I wanted to chew, but I was able to chew it. So every night I was like, damn, that was a lot. And I should have known better, and I didn't. So anyway, I'm going to string all this together. This will, like I said, be a podcast so those can listen to it, or video, you can watch it. There's a lot of talking head, and sometimes I point the camera at the bike. There are some situations on the bike that get crazy, like all the zip ties. I highly recommend you bring reusable bulk or reusable zip ties of substantial thickness and length. So I would say anything under a foot is good, and something like maybe as wide as your pinky, so relatively wide. And it has an adjustable release, so you can reuse the zip ties over and over. It just allows you to reconnect gear when things go awry. So it's duct tape, but reusable. All right, let me see if I can get CapCut to stitch everything together correctly and then rip out the audio to make a podcast for you guys. Enjoy. So this is Mulberry Gap. There's basically an REI in there and some extra sleeping and other amenities, air conditioning and such. They are in the mountains big time. I'll throw it up on the map. Over here, this is their mess hall and I guess sunroom to hang out. Down this way, they have cabins and campgrounds. It's a pretty good setup. I can't believe I've never actually been up here before on my own, but I guess that's why they do this, to show us, and I'll be back. Matt. There's Matt. Lots of muscle, doing the race. Gonna crush it. Various bike setups. For the podcast listeners, I'm showing a bunch of bikes on racks that are gonna get transported up, and they're loaded up in various degrees. Some people have side saddle bags, middle saddle, front saddle bags to carry all sorts of stuff. There's a couple bikes in here that have hardly anything. So there is a lot of creativity and options. And I think this is something that I didn't really consider. It was how much I really should be carrying. I think I lightened my load by half by the end.
So sometimes you're out there where there's poor service and stuff like that. So.
The packages I bought with Mulberry Gap was, in addition to sleeping and riding and all this, they will bring you to the Days Inn here in Clayton. And they've got everything sorted with rooms. There's an Ingles grocery store right behind us, burger joint up the road. It's a pretty good setup. It makes the race a whole lot easier. Do you need to do that? No, but I like easy. This is the first time I've done this race, so I'll take easy. We did notice the bikes are vastly different from each other. Some are loaded down, super packed up. Some don't have anything, so I'm curious what they're going to do. I imagine you should have some amount of gear on your bike. We are loading up the bikes. Everybody's got their stuff packed out. Some people have saddlebags to the side. Most everyone has something on the back. This right here is crazy. He's got just a tiny little bit. A lot of people are using the in-between spots. I like this one. It's probably custom made so that his shocks still work. So this is a good idea. Just put most of the stuff in this large area here. I don't have that. I have to find the right thing and give up my water bottle spots. So pretty interesting ideas on packs. I like somebody brought some sandals. I don't have that creature comfort. And again, some people have a lot packed, but I think like this particular one, he's just going to stop wherever he wants to stop and camp out. I've got very specific spots that I want to make it to. And there's a whole nother car with lights on it. And then there's a bunch of people who are just meeting us there. I think they said there's about 100 people racing. So the way this works right now for us anyway, if you do the Mulberry Gap package, then they will, yesterday we were at Mulberry Gap. They bring you to the Days Inn. We just roam around town eating, which I believe one of my daughters and I were here. We went to a restaurant that was like, I've been here. So it was either Evie or Olivia. Maybe it was a soccer match. I don't know. But anyway, so they're going to drive us to the beginning of the race. I'll try to put a overlay on this. I'm learning how to do those cool things thanks to my kids showing me how. And we should get going at 8 o'clock. So they said we're supposed to leave here at 6:45, and then the gun will go off at 8 o'clock.
Done. Okay.
Here is our bike rig, or my bike rig for this race. This is the most iffy part. I already broke one of the. This has two little hinges holding it on, and I pulled it up to cinch better and snapped one of them. But when you snap it down, it's in place. So this is not a great option. I have some duct tape, which fixes everything. But this clearance, so next time I will get a rack that comes off. Yeah, that's going to be an issue. I got two waters, and I got two waters here. I ended up putting, I duct taped some ridge lines in here so that this plastic piece would stop on it. It didn't. So then I took duct tape and just taped the whole damn thing down, and now it doesn't go anywhere. So we'll see. This plastic seems a little bit weak. This bottle may be too heavy, so potentially drop some water out of it and then squeeze it down a bit more. I don't plan on biking that fast for it to matter, but it's consideration, right? This little pack with the riser seems to be okay so far. They've got the spot facing the sky for the satellite. This is my direction thing. It's got a map to show if you're on course. And then a little pouch up here, electrolytes, and the wallet, which can convert anything into usable material. Matt has got his European travel bag.
That's right. Hey, you never know what you're going to need.
You never know. Much lighter than a fireman's kit.
Yes.
And then this is what I'm talking about this is what I should do next time. So this is, it's not going to fall. It's supported. He's got a bag attached to it. Pretty big front bag. I like that idea too. And it's off the cables. So smart stuff there. We're on a random bridge over some creek that divides South Carolina and Georgia.
Here we go.
A whole bunch of front people.
Did you get a photo? You want to take a photo of you on the
And then
bike?
there's a bunch of us in the back. We're just recording. It's just.
I'm sorry.
No, it's perfectly fine. No, it's fine. And then there's a bunch more of us back here. All right, we are almost 2 hours in. We've gone about 15, is that right? No, yeah, 10 miles, 11 miles, I don't know. I'm not that dumb yet, but I didn't do the math. I've got some epic, mildly problematic issues on my bike. Zip ties fixed it, so in future, pack more zip ties. These really robust, adjustable zip ties. Right now, the trail is a recently graveled Forest Service road. Not bad. I just couldn't bike that section because it was too heavy or steep. Water's doing good. Electrolytes are okay. Ate some stuff. I got Matt's right with me, and James is with us. Steven is way ahead. I don't know where he is. So yeah, everything's looking okay so far, but I have some gear choices that I would fix. Some other lessons learned. We try to bomb down the hills, and you can't. I mean, you can, but this setup, everything jiggles. This backpack has tiny clearance, and it's dropping or bopping into the back tire, so that's a mistake. Next time, go for a cage setup back here and a cage setup for the front. My little trick here is working, but I could have been smarter and better with that. Also, there's a split back there. I'm gonna see if Matt hits the split. Going down the hill is a little treacherous. I'm okay with it. I've been doing this for a while, but a lot of people are like, okay, this is pretty messed up. Like, we just went past a down tree. There was some storms, so there's some stuff in the way. But my instinct is to just go down the hill, and I've already ruined gear and lost water bottles, which I had to go back and get them, which made my bombing fast down the hill way slower. So that was not awesome, right? There he is. Can you see him back there? He just made that downhill turn. That's actually a relatively pleasant ride. When it gets too steep, we just get off and push. No biggie. Matt, how's it going so far?
Huh?
How's it going?
Good.
Yeah.
I did lose my chain.
Oh, shoot.
But it's back on.
Okay. All right, so I got this Coro Enduro because they said, hey, don't try to do it without one of these. And I feel like it's cheating. It actually tells us exactly where to go once you upload the map file. So super sweet. The spot aimed towards the sky seems to be working. Both Matt and I worked out the kinks. Use some
y'all. Good, how you doing? Good.
heavy duty zip ties to kind of fix things. Steven and James are down there getting water out of the Sawyer squeeze. So that's the one that you can't be sure about, is how much water do you really need. I've got 2 of these guys and then these 2, and that's it. Is it enough? I've got 1 bottle left. I just refilled it. I got half in here and maybe a third over there. So maybe it's enough. It definitely helps to have other people around in case you need a thing, but it's hard to figure out, like pushing the bike up a hill or biking down the hill fast or whatever. So it's not, we're just not always together, but we're not really all that far apart. Okay, it is 3 o'clock on Monday. We've gone like 34 miles. Not great, because I'm supposed to make it like 60 miles to a campground, Moccasin State Park or something. So we were on a gnarly trail that really was not too bikeable. That's fine. And now we're on this Forest Service road again. And basically I pushed my bike uphill for about an hour, and maybe it was a mile. So I think I'm at the top and it's potentially downhill for a bit, but it's very slow going pushing. It's like being on a rickshaw. Look that up. I'm just carrying my stuff on my bike and pushing it. Anyway, legs feel okay. I don't feel tired. I'm not hungry. I'm not thirsty. I did find a guy who was walking by his cabin, and I said, hey, can I steal some water from you? So I was able to fill up. I think some of the guys stopped at Dillard, but I decided to keep going. I have stuff waiting on the other side, a campground and whatever, and I'm kind of want to get there in time to be like, hey, I want to claim it. And I know there's a place you can have dinner right there too. So I think they close at like 9 o'clock. So I'm trying to make that as well. I shouldn't do this in the middle of the river, but we just came through there. I got Reed and Donna with some trail magic. You have to cross through the creek and back to the hidden entrance over there. And if you don't know it's there, well, I mean, it does say go that way. But if you don't know, you don't know. And yeah, right now I'm in calf-high water, and I found a new smell that I really enjoy. It's fresh asphalt. Dude, I just did 3 miles in like a minute and a half. It was awesome. Breakfast this morning was peanut butter, water, coffee, and beef jerky. So I slept at Moccasin Creek State Park. Had this inflatable, did really well. Had a Tyvek bivy, kind of like a sleeping bag, just put it over the top of myself. Face net, sweet little charging station for the gear, which is actually surprisingly held up really well charge-wise. But I guess that's what it's supposed to do. I'm going to toss some gear. I replaced the bottle with a can of coffee. Hopefully that'll work. This cable was getting pushed down into the tire, which is not good because it's hydraulic. So spilling the juice is no bueno. This kept dropping. I don't know if you can see that, but the tire would hit, and it's been ripping this back thing. So not the best idea. What I did here, though, is I took this up about a ½ inch, which does change the way I pedal, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. The other thing is I'm gonna pack this heavy stuff in here and then go lighter so that it doesn't drop. It's about 5:50. I plan to get started shortly. All right, sun is up. I think I'm near the top of Wildcat Mountain. I started about 6:30 in the morning, and the mileage was 293 to go. So it's 355 total. Where it says 287. So what is that? Call it 8. It's just 5 miles in about an hour, which isn't bad, but a lot of pushing. So I had to push all the way up this guy. Looks like I'm about to hit some downhill. Usually you can tell because like there's no more tree lines going up, usually, but sometimes they hide it behind another mountain. So interesting thing from yesterday, I pushed a lot from this side of my bike. So my left hand was on the stem. Sorry, my right hand was on the stem. And I did something dumb to my wrist. And so I was pushing with it a lot and it hurt. So the rest of the day I was on this other side, the right side, so I could push with my left. I woke up and everything was okay. I put one of Verity's LifeWave patches on me last night. And yeah, my wrist feels actually pretty good. So I was worried, would that take me out of the race? The answer is no. So here we go. All right, so it is almost 9 o'clock and I've gone, let's see, it's 281. So I think 12 miles. Going up the hills is slow. Here's what I know. If I'm going to push the bike up a hill, this guy right here reads about 2 miles an hour. If I can bike it, it's usually better than 4 miles an hour if uphill. If I am riding on something like this is sweet and easy. I can get up to 16 miles per hour, but this stuff gets washed out in super sketch. So I already decided to eject from the cockpit here one time on a trail or an overgrown Forest Service road. 10 miles an hour downhill is probably right, which means I'm riding my brakes a lot. Usually I would just go, but there's too many things that are shaking and there's too many washouts. So I think, it's not a great average. As long as I'm getting about 6 miles an hour, I should make my destinations, especially since I left a little early today. But yeah, so I did eject. It was... So what happens in the middle of these roads is the water just finds a path and it just wears it out. And I got stuck in one of those going too fast and I was trying to brake and then hop out and I just couldn't. And so the bike went down and I Air Jordaned it into some rhododendrons. Everything's okay, but yeah, I was a little nervous. Okay, so sometimes we hit roads. So just came down that. I'm at 279 now, and when you get going on a road, you can get up to ludicrous speed. So you don't have to really be careful because it's made for cars, and there's usually not junk on there, and they're not washed out. Like I said, my new love smell is freshly laid down asphalt. Let's see, at mile 270.8, so, oh man, what is that? Do the math from 355. There's a really good water source, and I think this is the only one really on this route for a while. So I stopped, used my sock as a filter on top of the Sawyer bag, and then I squirted a bunch of water into my water bottles. and I took a moment to drink as much as I wanted. And I have a jar of peanut butter. That was my breakfast and now my lunch. So I ate so far today an entire jar of peanut butter and 2 beef jerky sticks, chomps. So not too hungry, but I could definitely use some real food. And of course, we're going up. All right, a little detour. I did not know that Cool Adventures or Cool Water, Cool River Adventure was right on the trail here. They have a kitchen in there, got some hot dogs and some cold water, and then I'll be headed out. The other update is these guys did not work at all. They tore off, and the other one's broken. I mean, it's just trash. Plastic stuff is trash. So I got the water cinched in back here, and I'll cinch in another one somehow. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention, they had coffee. That is so awesome. Poured some cold water into my coffee so I can drink it right away. And the hot dogs I stored in my pack right here. They're old school. She tossed them in the microwave to cook them. I love it. Yes, it's probably not food, but right now I'm okay with that. Note to self, at 2:50-ish, there's some water in the side of the climb, but I gotta do it one more time. Man, I've been pushing a bike for maybe almost 2 hours, but there is water. So next year, if you want to do this after Cool River Adventures, you climb, bring lots of water. Note to self, there's water everywhere. Once you get over the hill, that massive hill after Cool Ridings, Cool whatever. So I think it was 52 is where I found and this is going negative distance. So from 355, I was at 252. I found some little water in the wall. Then at 250, there was big water in the wall. Then at 248, there was a river. And then at 245, another river. 243, there's a river down there. So I don't know why I freaked out so much, but I was damn hot. And now I've got to do the same thing, but it's a Forest Service road, which is, at least it's in the shade. So I'm not doing great on time. It's 440, and my mileage right now is 355 minus at 243.9. I'm supposed to get to 221, where I'm staying tonight. So I've got 221, 22 miles. 22 miles, I have basically 3, maybe 4 hours of light left. It's doable, but there's a big push. I do have a headlamp, so I'm not like in trouble. It's a lot to bite off. I don't know, whatever. All right, 5 in the morning is at Cooper Creek general store. They have got a room with air conditioning in 2 beds and a keg in a refrigerator. So I got my gloves drying on the air conditioner just this morning, but last night this guy kicked out heat, so I dried out my shoes, which is necessary because my feet are getting eat up. So the hot air is coming out there. Get my shoes hanging up. The thing, probably the most underrated item I've got so far are these zip ties. They've been awesome to use in just about every way possible to attach things that break. My whole rig system is broken apart. It's no good. So I am dumping more weight. I finished that peanut butter yesterday, and I've got a resupply coming up at Mulberry Gap. So I'm going to get rid of my hammer and Duralights because it's just a lot of extra weight. And what's happening is this bag is tilting the seat down and it's hitting the bottom and it's going to rip it apart. So I need some emergency planning. I've also lost the side water bottle carriers. They didn't work. So I've been zip tying stuff to my bike. 6:08 on Monday morning. I'm about to head out. This is what the setup looks like now. I had to cut off the racks because it didn't work. And like I said, this guy keeps scraping bottom. So hopefully I've lifted the seat about 1/2 inch and tilted the seat forward a bit. So that should help. And then the water system is just a bunch of water bottles with really robust zip ties. And that one's got coffee in it. Well, coffee and water. So yeah, this is what it's looking like. These guys at Cooper Creek store are awesome. They're open 24 hours for us on this race. And they made me some eggs and hamburger patties. So I'm packing those and we'll eat that sometime during the day. At 2:09, you have to do the subtraction math. We passed the Iron Bridge General Store. So the new bridge, the old bridge. They open at 8 o'clock. I'm going to wait 5 minutes to get some food. Everything's working out okay on the bike. Muddy out there. I know I have food, but better to buy it and then save a little bit on the other things that I would have eaten, I think. The seat was wiggly earlier, so it was dropping. It looks like it's okay, but I did hear it go ring, ring. And you can see I don't know if you can see that, it's tearing it up. I got to come up with another solution there. So far, so good. Today is Monday, and I think the halfway point is like 278. So I started today at 223, do the math, and I need to go 78 miles. So I think that's like 146 maybe. I'm really bad at math right now, which means something is not right in my head. I need more electrolytes probably. All right, it is 10:32, and I just pushed up that peak thing. Took me about an hour, and I went the wrong way at first. Right now we're on a bike trail, and I am super spent. You keep moving, find the pace that you can keep moving, and then don't take breaks like I'm doing right now, but I'm at the top, and I'll put my helmet on, drink some water and stuff, so I thought I would do this. So at mile, where are we? 2:01 at 10:33. So I started about like 6:10. I got about, what did I say? 145. So I got 60 miles to go. I'm in a much better place than I was yesterday in terms of time. Now back on this map thing, I actually have another one right there, if you can see it. So there's another big one coming. So I'm gonna spend an hour pushing there. Yay. Interesting that on a bike trail, if the bike trail sucks, they call it a feature and they put expert on it. When the forest road sucks, they call it a washout. And either way, they're all dangerous. Okay, so notes to self. I think on day one, don't wear socks because there's so many wet sections, and wet feet the whole time sucks. Day two, there's one that you definitely get wet, but you could take your shoes off and stay dry if you wanted to. Man, this bike scenario got crazy on me. Don't attach too much to the seat. Make sure you have a way to filter water. The longer underwear, not these, I wanted the other ones. These are the short ones. I packed poorly. Buy the longer ones. So I think it's like a 7 or a 9 inch legging so that it doesn't rub against this stuff. I do like rotating the underwear because the seams are in a different place and it keeps the backside okay. Yeah, a lot of lessons learned. I just can't think of them right now. I'm tired. Coming out of the Toccoa trails, when you pop off, you come down this, this was a great just speed demon. There's a building right up there, and this is mile 197. There's a really good water source. I got water from the other side. So yeah, it's plentiful, but you do have to stop to get it. I don't know what's ahead of me. I probably should have done more recon of the map, or maybe even come out and driven this thing, but whatever, I'm learning. Okay, some thoughts. Don't wear a backpack, let yourself breathe. Backpack, I think, would be death out here. I pretty much drink either a half a bottle, like this bottle right here, half a bottle or a full bottle every hour of water. So be able to replace that and have enough, whatever that means to you. So I'm carrying about 5 hours worth of water on me. I bike down a trail that was super sketch. I was doing 8 miles an hour and I took it right in the when I did not bike correctly. So careful, and it's going to go slower on that stuff. I push, like I said, it was between like 1 and 2 miles per hour up a hill. So the thing to realize is they said you'll probably go like 80 miles a day. I would plan on 5 miles an hour. How many hours do you want to bike? Because you got to stop and fill up your water, take a dump. There's so many things that go on.
Right now, I'm about to go crush this downhill, but I had to verify that I was on the right track because my Garmin or my Duro said you're slightly off. But I was like, there's no other road here, and I have service. So some notes for myself. There was more, but I can't remember them. I always get kind of dumb. I know something. I know my new fueling is off because I can't do math right now. And yeah, so that's a problem. I need to probably take more electrolytes. This is about halfway. I'm at 180.3 miles minus the 355 start. So it's backwards math and I can't do that right now. I've got some hamburger that I bought this morning that I'm going to eat now. Some electrolytes, and there's still another big climb. But anyway, if you're brand new to this thing and thinking, hey, I'd like to try the TNGA, I would first say go try some of Lisa Randall's mountain biking race stuff. So she does some that are on trail and some that are on Forest Service roads, the gravel races. If you've never done that, you should probably do that first. There's a lot to learn about yourself and your bike and what rattles. I do know that, so I've been doing a lot of adventure races, and I use these Hammer Endurolite electrolyte pills. Usually I take 4 an hour. Out here, I've been doing 2 every hour, and I drink about a thermos of water. So I've got it down pretty much. You need to know where your aches and pains are. Like, I bought this seat, infinity seat, for $400, but everybody swore that it'd keep the saddle sorenesses off, and so far it's pretty good. I've also adjusted, I have no padding, it's just underwear, and I'm trying to stay dry, which isn't possible, but just not salty and grossy. And I have no serious issues. I mean, I don't bike much, so 3 days of biking is going to make something hurt. Yeah, so the electrolytes, bike pushing. I don't think you really need to be good at biking, because I think maybe 90% of the time I'm pushing my bike up a hill, not actually biking. So it's more about, can you endure? And then can you overcome when the obstacles come up, like the water and hanging all the water bottles with zippers. I mean, you just got to do something. At one point, the seat was tipping. I wore this kind of like a backpack just so I could get to the last night's stop without it being dark. So you just have to adapt and overcome. So this mountainside market is at 179, about halfway, and they're here to support racers. So I should have waited to come here to eat and drink. I'm gonna get a few things and then take off. I'm home. I bailed out of the race, made it to Mulberry Gap, and it was, well, okay. It's not exactly what I expected, but it's outside, so what can you expect? I was on track to make it the 35 miles through P1, P2, big mountains, and some single track, which I didn't find too bad, but I like mountain biking, and it's different than other biking. But anyway, it's around 8 o'clock, it started to thunder, and storms were crazy, and it got a little dangerous. So after biking for about an hour in the rain, or off and on rain, my crotch was pretty bad off because going with this seat, that's fine, but I was low underwear. I was just using Under Armour underwear, so nothing special, and that got to rubbing, and that's a problem. So not something I had considered. And so the next day, that was pretty bad off. That's today. Other thing that was really happening was I didn't realize how dumb I was in the head. I was under drinking and under salting, even though I was taking 2 hammer pills. Like right now, sometimes I just lose my words. I'm still dumb. 2 hammer pills every hour and drinking almost a bottle of water. And that just wasn't enough. So, and I know this because when I got to Mulberry Gap, finally, thank you for the guy I followed. I forgot, Ryan out of Nashville. I already went over the handlebars 3 times, just dangerous situations. I was biking slowly, but it was still stupid. I was able to jump off the bike as I went over and turn it into a sexy dance. But so I followed Ryan, he caught back up to me, and he had extra lampage, and him being ahead of me allowed me to see what was happening, even though we were in rain and fog. Anyway, we finally made it, and I pretty much just went to sleep after filling up my water bottles, putting 2 of those, or 1 each, into the LMNT salts, into the jar, into the thermos, and drinking both of them down before going to bed. And I only got up to pee 1 time, and that's a normal for me. Usually I'm getting up a couple times, but 2 bottles of water right before going to bed. Yeah, something was wrong with me. And the next morning I got up and started talking to some of the guys, to drink coffee and eat some breakfast. And I was having a hard time making coherent sentences. So I had told you I couldn't math. That now I know is a good indicator that I'm not doing well. The problem with doing the race alone is you're alone. And so in my head, things made sense, but I should have taken that. I mean, I'm an engineer, for goodness sakes. Math, basic addition, subtraction in this case, I should be able to do that. So yeah, so I made the wise choice of, hey, I've learned a lot. My gear sucked. My ability to bike uphill is pretty bad, but my ability to persist is pretty good. So 5 miles an hour is what I know I should be looking at. And I think next year, if I do it next year or the year after that, I will do the gravel route, which will take out a bit of the extreme on some of it. Although, again, I didn't really mind the trails. I think on the biking aspect of it, one, I don't like biking on roads. I mean, I did enjoy the asphalt, but just cars and bikes are dangerous together. Nobody obeys the same rules well. And I would have, I don't know, I guess, what else would I do for difference? I think the first day, different shoes because you get wet a lot, and my toes are still kind of numb, and so is my left pinky finger. Yeah, let me pause and think about that. Oh, something else I didn't know was, so I bought the package from Mulberry Gap, and they're like, hey, your bag will be back at Mulberry Gap. I'm like, okay, well, I've rented a place. They didn't know what I was thinking. I rented a place. So I thought my bag going back to Mulberry Gap meant it would be there, and I could just take my stuff out. So when we were at the hotel on Friday night, I took half of my stuff and put it in my bag. So when I got to my halfway point, Mulberry Gap, I was like, hey, can I get my bag and then pull stuff out? And she's like, yes, but that would disqualify you. I'm like, well, I guess I should have asked that question. So while you can buy anything out there, it's open to everyone. You can't have something that's open only to you. And that's the difference. Now, I don't really care, but I'm not going to finish a thing that's not really finishing it because of something I didn't really understand. That's just whatever. I'm not out there to win any medals. I'm just doing something tough, spending some time in the woods. I don't know exactly why we do these stupid things, but it was still, even now, it's only been less than 24 hours. It was still kind of fun. And there is perspective to be had. So one of the guys, I think I was telling the story, said, hey, that 35 miles is treacherous and tough. For him, sure. And he was giving me wisdom for him. But it wasn't that bad for me. I knew it would take me about an hour to push up that hill. And there's a mountain biking trail, and that wouldn't be the worst thing for me. The worst is I just don't bike up hills very well. So basically my rule of thumb is, and this came up with Eddie, he's like, is the juice worth the squeeze? So on my mountain bike, I think there's 11 gears in the back. So if I get to the 11th gear, I should walk. If I get to the 10th gear, I should walk. So the deal is, if I'm on the 9th gear and I feel like I need to shift, I just get off the bike and walk. And usually it works for me, but that means I'm walking a lot. Anywho, so there's some things we'll do different. The other 3 guys, we've been texting, and we wanted to get together and kind of go through the rundown to maybe tackle it next year or the year after. Got a couple other guys looking at possibly doing it. I would say some of the best practice you could do is just sitting in the saddle and biking. So not necessarily mountain biking. I don't think that's as useful. It's just be able to bike, sit in the saddle, and let your butt like squeak up and down. So like I've been going to the Alpharetta Greenway and I was doing 2 1-hour sessions, 30 minutes out, 30 minutes back. And I feel like that did pretty good. I will probably do that once a week now, maybe. Well, not right now, eventually. And I think that'd be good training for legs and butt. I think my mountain biking actual technical skills, even with a heavier bike, was okay. I didn't really find anything that I was like, oh no. I mean, I did go over the handlebars, but again, I could probably see like 2 feet in front of me, and I was going too fast for that. Now, again, I was making dumb decisions, like I said. So if you looked over to the left, it was the trench of the Pinhoti Trail, not the mountains. So had I spilt and gone left, or gone over the bars and run left, I probably would have went down a very steep hill and had some kinetic impact that I wouldn't have enjoyed. When I got to Mulberry Gap, one of the guys, Blake, I think it was Blake, somebody said he found a limb wedged in the spokes of my back tire well enough that it wasn't coming out, but it wasn't hitting anything. So I biked with a limb in my spokes. But again, it was raining and I was trying to get it done. And that's a bad combination. In the future, shoot for less. So maybe 50 miles a day or something. Something that's more obtainable. I think that would have been helpful. I'll go over a gear review. I'm going to go clean all this up. It smells pretty bad. And I would definitely bring less, and I would plan out better, like what's out there on the trail. Hopefully the videos I made, I'm going to go back and rewatch and make notes to myself. Okay, this is here and this is there. Now I think they're saying every other year they may switch directions. I don't think I would want to do it in reverse, knowing that the hard stuff would be at the end. But then again, maybe you get your legs under you. I don't know. TNGA bike gear. Obviously the bike, Specialized. It worked out great. I never really went past that third gear. If I had to, I would walk. I do have goof-filled tires, and I went down rapidly over things I probably should not have. My whole hydration system got screwed up. I had racks on the front that just came apart. This actually worked really well, just zip tying. So I'm going to come up with something different. I think what I'd rather do is have some sort of container that fits this area, and then maybe like you put water in up there, squeeze it in with a Sawyer, and then maybe it comes out of a spout that I can rig up down the bottom. I would say change your brakes out beforehand. I think my brakes are probably shot, so it's another reason I stopped. I didn't have that sort of gear. I did have on here an Enduro Kuro. That thing was rock solid. And I think every day I used maybe only 20% of its power. I got this pack up front that I held some items in, like my electrolytes. And then, that was pretty much it, some chapstick. And then I put my cell phone in this package right here so I could, and I didn't really need to look at it. That probably not as useful as I wanted it to be, but I would probably change that out for something that allowed me to pack right there, rather than what I did, which is attach it to the back. So I had this guy, this Rhino Walk, which tapped the wheel a lot. Oh man, that's cut halfway through, so that's not good. Chris Randall said, hey, maybe it's your actual seat. So I think this should be higher, and then my seat should be forward. So I'm gonna give that a go. I don't know, I like where it is right now, but maybe it's not right? I did a lot of chomps because I'm a meat or protein and fat guy. This was a netting. I heard someone say it's good to keep the bugs off your face if you're sleeping outside, which I did one night. I don't think I'd need that next time. I'd do something different. I had this pack of medical stuff that I fortunately didn't have to use. I think what I should have done is taking things out of this to make it lighter. I did carry along some LMNT salts. I had this pack on the front and could never find a great position for it, so that's gonna get tossed for something else. I did sleep under this bivy. It's like a Mylar bivy sack. I just put it on top like a blanket, and I had this pad. This was probably my big creature comfort, was blowing up and sleeping on that, but this guy right here needs a bed, so I have to come up with a way to do this and a little bit more sleeping comfort. I did bring a tire, even though I have tubeless. I bought tubes. Thought if I had a catastrophic wheel failure, I'm screwed, so I should have some way to fix the bike, and that's the only thing I really brought to fix the bike. Had my derailleur gone or anything else, I would have been in trouble. I mean, I have the standard bike tools right here. Probably the thing that got the most use was my little wrench thing, Allen wrench set, to adjust the seat and height and level. I did bring a knife with me, and these zip ties were probably the biggest save of the day. Just so next time I'll have longer ones and better ones. I did bring extra batteries for the spot. I figured if you're in trouble and the spot goes out, you're screwed. So this is like, I don't want to actually die out there, right? I brought 2 extra containers. This has caffeine pills, and this had some other like ibuprofen and such. I didn't actually use any of it, so did I need it? Probably not. And then I have one big air. I had 2, but I really just need 1. I put my electrolytes in here every day. I had some eye drops because I've gotten bugs in my eyes before, and it sucks to not get them out. I always take a trash bag, because if everything else goes to crap, you can poke your head and arms through that and make like a jacket and stay warm. And then some baby wipes. I also have this spray that my wife makes up. It's called, we call it Owie spray. It's
defractionated coconut oil and some other essential oils. I don't remember what they're, helichrysum and some other things. Anyway, if you spray that on your bottom, then go to the bathroom, it doesn't leave a mess. And so when you wipe, it's really fast and clean. So it's a nice way to stay unouched while you're out there. Shoes were Innovates. I did swap out my socks every time, and I just threw the other ones away. These are just Costco socks, nothing special. The underwear, it's nothing special. It's just, Under Armour and such underwear. But I think what I would do in the future is get ones that are like this longer, because that kept my thigh from hitting anything. This rain jacket I've used forever. It did come in useful, but one night of rain, it got pretty cold. And of course the helmet, and then like an idiot, I forgot to take these off. These are windbreakers for the straps, so if I listen to a podcast while biking, it doesn't have that sound the whole time. And then thermoses. So, that was really it. I had a lot of food. The food has been eaten, that's why you don't see it. And then half the stuff would have been in the pack that I couldn't get a hold of because I'd have been cheating. Oops, I didn't know that. I think a better system here, and then maybe a arm that goes out to hold whatever it is I want to carry would be a wiser choice. Or create something that's in this area that's a bit better. Of course, getting, like, when you come down off the bike, you might sit on it all the time, so it can't be too big. Yeah, that's about it. Time to clean it all up and then see what actually needs to be replaced or bought anew or scrubbed. Oh yeah, let us not forget the Sawyer screws. That thing was indispensable. This guy was so-so. I bought it because it had these USB type connections and plugs on top. Way too big and clunky. I didn't need all that. And I brought a big ass battery. I would think in the future I would just bring maybe half this battery because, your electronics are your life. But then just bring a small charger that had the same adapter for everybody. Then I had some cables and a watch. I also brought a compass watch, which was useless. But having a watch in my hand was pretty good. And a toothbrush. Here's that oil for the spray. All right, some other thoughts that I forgot to put on this for myself, most likely doing it next year, or I guess anybody else. So after taking a shower, my backside is pretty raw. I don't have open wounds, but I got some pretty good bruising where you would expect bruising on your butt in those, callousy, saddle sore areas. I don't know what today would have looked like had I gone biking, but sitting in my office chair hurts. The other thing is, I don't know if I mentioned it, my hands would go numb from holding the handlebar. So I think it'd be good to have some other way to put your arms on the bar so that you could just hold the handlebars differently. I kept doing changing my directions. I also pushed a lot, so I had to rotate sides to keep the push pain down. The other thing is I have got numbness in my toes. Like I had wet foot for too long and then hike a bike for a lot. So the pad of my foot went numb. Of course, I did the second day without socks. So that's probably what happened there is too much pushing on pavement and just the rubbing right there. My shoulders actually were okay. I didn't have my normal, I wanted to rock my arms and roll them out. But I think it's because we were pushing bikes and not really riding. Well, I was. The pedal clipped me in the leg a lot as I pushed. That's just something that happens. The fronts of my shins are pretty cut up from mostly the pedal, but then sometimes, taking plant material. My neck from looking up was hurting a little bit, but it's not terrible. I think if I had a backpack that was pulling on my traps and looking up, that would have been bad. I guess the numbness of the hand is a little bit weird, and the pain in the wrist that I had over here from hurting myself a couple months ago, that would be the biggest things. I don't know if I would have changed any gear. I did wear regular shirts that I threw away, so when I was pushing my bikes, I was so sweaty that the shirt was rubbing my nipple, and my nipple started to sting as if I had rubbed it raw, so it looks okay. So maybe a better choice would have been some polyester or the fast wicking shirts, maybe? I don't know.